The man only glanced briefly at the new intern, but unexpectedly angered him. The intern grabbed his laptop and began furiously beating the man. At first, the man thought the intern simply had a bad temper, but he soon realized something strange was happening. Whenever he made eye contact with someone, he would inexplicably be attacked. This is from France's latest creative disaster movie from 2023, Vincent Must Die. Vincent doit mourir. In its first week, it achieved an impressive rating of 8.2 on French websites. It's praised for its intriguing plot and creative concept. The victim, named Vincent, is a graphic designer. Everything started with the first attack. That afternoon, Vincent was busy as usual at his company. Since he was occupied, he asked the intern to help him buy an iced Americano. Unexpectedly, the intern suddenly grabbed a laptop and charged at him. Thankfully, co-workers nearby intervened quickly. Initially, Vincent thought his request had upset the intern, but strangely, the intern had no memory of the incident, nor did he understand why he attacked Vincent. But strange events continued. The next morning, Vincent was busy as usual. A colleague happened to pass by his office. They made brief eye contact and greeted each other politely. Unexpectedly, the next second, seeing his colleague go berserk, Vincent hurriedly ran out of the company. As soon as he left, his crazed colleague immediately calmed down. Yet the colleague had absolutely no memory of what just happened. Both men were taken to the police station. When his colleague saw footage of himself attacking Vincent with a pen, he was completely stunned. He explained that his mind had gone blank, and he'd instinctively grabbed whatever was on the desk. As for what happened afterward, he truly couldn't remember. Seeing his colleague didn't seem to be lying, Vincent decided not to pursue the matter. Yet his leniency only led to him getting fired. Since the company had 2 consecutive incidents of violence, the boss decided to dismiss Vincent. Upset, Vincent went to a bar and complained to his friend about his recent experiences. While he was venting, Vincent noticed a homeless man dancing on the street. Yet after only making brief eye contact, the homeless man suddenly approached him aggressively, with the same fierce look as his 2 colleagues before. Vincent immediately sensed danger and stood up to leave. But just as he got to his feet, the homeless man was hit by a car while crossing the road. Although Vincent wasn't physically attacked this time, he felt something was very wrong. Early the next morning, Vincent had an interview at a new company, but on the way, he accidentally made eye contact with an elderly woman. Her eyes instantly turned fierce. Afraid something bad would happen, Vincent quickly turned down a small road behind him. But in his nervousness, he accidentally fell off his bicycle. At that moment, Vincent heard the roaring of an engine behind him. He turned around. It was the elderly woman from earlier. Vincent quickly dodged to the side of the road. Looking at his damaged bicycle lying there, Vincent felt terrible. He gave up on the interview and hurried home. Vincent opened his computer to see if anyone else had similar experiences, but all he found online was nonsense. Vincent even briefly wondered if he simply looked annoying. He even made an appointment with a psychologist. Because Vincent didn't dare to make direct eye contact, he kept shaking his head from side to side. The psychologist thought Vincent was some kind of hooligan and suggested he learn to communicate properly. Feeling helpless, Vincent went onto his balcony for some fresh air, wondering what on earth was happening. At that moment, a man stepped out on the opposite balcony for a smoke. After a brief glance at each other, the man suddenly threw an ashtray at Vincent. Fortunately, Vincent anticipated his action beforehand and wasn't hit. Back home, Vincent bought a stun gun for protection, but the moment he stepped outside, he encountered 2 children. They exchanged a brief glance, and immediately both kids charged toward Vincent. The children's mother heard the commotion, and Vincent took the opportunity to retreat inside his house. The mother mistakenly thought Vincent was bullying her kids and told her husband about it. Her husband gathered a crowd and angrily confronted Vincent at his door. Seeing their furious expressions, Vincent didn't dare open the door. After an unknown amount of time passed, the man reluctantly left. Vincent hurriedly packed up his things and drove overnight to his father's house. But his father had a new girlfriend, making it inconvenient for him to stay there. Vincent had no choice but to drive aimlessly around the streets. At one point, he stopped at a shop to buy some bread. Yet, just after Vincent sat down, an elderly man approached him. The old man asked Vincent if it was true that every time he made eye contact with someone, he'd get attacked. It turned out that the old man experienced the same thing as Vincent. 6 months ago, the old man was a university professor, but for some unknown reason, he contracted a strange condition. Whenever he made eye contact with someone, he'd inexplicably be attacked. In the worst incident, the old man was chased by the entire school for 2 whole streets. The old man told Vincent about a website. He explained there were many others around the world experiencing the same problem. He also suggested Vincent get a dog. It could save his life at crucial moments. After finishing his bread, Vincent went to a gas station. He planned to hide out at his rural hometown for a while. But while refueling, Vincent accidentally made eye contact with a muscular man. The man immediately picked up an object and charged at Vincent. Vincent had no choice but to hurriedly drive away. Returning to his hometown, Vincent opened the website the old man had mentioned. The website was full of people who'd experienced exactly the same thing as Vincent. They all described making eye contact with others, then getting beaten up. One user reported the issue to the police. Yet when the police arrived, even they beat him up. This user thought he might be sick, so he went to see a doctor. But as soon as he arrived at the hospital, the doctor also attacked him. To avoid being assaulted, many chose to hide. They moved to remote rural areas, avoiding contact with other people as much as possible. After reading everyone's comments, Vincent felt deeply helpless. Yet even after moving to the countryside, trouble still followed him. Seeing Vincent return home, a friend brought his child over to greet him. Due to courtesy, Vincent didn't refuse, chatting casually with his friend. But he accidentally glanced at his friend's child. Suddenly, the child turned violent. Noticing his child's unusual behavior, his friend quickly ended the conversation. Because the septic tank at home was full, Vincent had to hire a cleaner. But while the cleaner was working, Vincent accidentally looked at him. The cleaner instantly shoved Vincent into the septic pit. In a panic, Vincent picked up a rock and knocked the cleaner unconscious. He thought about calling the police, but remembered the user who got beaten by the officers, so Vincent decided not to report it. He placed the cleaner in his car trunk, intending to find a place to let him wake up safely. However, upon opening the trunk, the cleaner suddenly woke up. Their eyes met briefly, and the cleaner immediately became violent again. Panicking, Vincent grabbed a hammer. When he finally calmed down, he realized the cleaner was already dead. Seeing the body in his trunk, Vincent was devastated. Remembering the old man's advice, Vincent visited a dog breeder and bought a fierce-looking dog. With the dog around, Vincent's life improved significantly. Most people kept their distance as soon as they saw the dog. One evening, Vincent went to a shop in town to buy groceries. Afraid of being attacked, he asked the shop clerk to bring his purchases outside. While exchanging items, Vincent accidentally made eye contact with the female clerk. Unexpectedly, the clerk had no reaction at all. At that moment, a motorcycle approached. Seeing the rider, the woman quickly jumped into Vincent's car to hide. It turned out the woman's name was Margot, and she owed a large sum of money. The motorcyclist was her creditor. Seeing Margot trying to flee again, the creditor wanted to get physical. Vincent took out his stun gun and saved Margot from trouble, but just as he was about to leave with Margot, they accidentally made eye contact. Margot instantly lunged at Vincent. In the chaos, Vincent knocked Margot unconscious. When Margot awoke, she found herself at Vincent's house. Thinking she'd been kidnapped, Margot panicked. Vincent quickly explained his strange condition to Margot, but Margot didn't believe him at all. How could someone be attacked just for making eye contact? Seeing Margot remained unconvinced, Vincent decided to take her to a supermarket. As soon as they got out of the car, Vincent deliberately looked around. Within moments, he'd attracted a large crowd chasing after him. Seeing the frantic mob running after Vincent, Margot finally believed him. For some unknown reason, Margot didn't go crazy this time after making eye contact with Vincent. She brought Vincent to her small, shabby boat. It turned out Margot also had a tough life. Growing up without parents, she'd always fended for herself. Just when she finally became independent, she met a terrible man who left her drowning in debt. Now, two lonely hearts found solace in each other. At this moment, Vincent received a phone call from the professor. The professor told him he'd recovered. His wife didn't go crazy after making eye contact with him. Hearing this, Vincent remembered the moment earlier when he looked into Margot's eyes. Could it be that his condition had disappeared too? Just then, they heard screams not far away. Vincent took a look and saw a passerby being beaten by several people. He quickly woke Margot up and hurriedly left the boat with her. The two drove back to his rural hometown, but before entering the house, he noticed his father's girlfriend lying on the roadside with a fire burning on the ground. Vincent rushed inside and saw his father cautiously pointing a hunting rifle at him. It turned out that his father had also developed the same condition. He too would be attacked after making eye contact. Perhaps infected people didn't affect each other, which was why neither had gone crazy. Vincent opened the website and discovered that affected people had established a shelter. They called for everyone with the condition to come and join them. Vincent immediately decided to go join the other survivors. Early the next morning, Vincent set off for the meeting point with Margot and his father. However, soon after starting their journey, Vincent noticed something strange. The highway was filled with cars and people attacking each other. He suddenly realized he wasn't the only one affected. At that moment, a crowd surrounded their car. Amidst the chaos, Vincent lost sight of his father. He grabbed Margot and climbed over a roadblock, hiding in a nearby field. But before he could catch his breath, Vincent himself suddenly became violent. In panic, Margot covered Vincent's eyes, and he immediately calmed down. It turned out that covering the eyes of the infected prevented others from being affected. Margot found some cloth and blindfolded Vincent. They continued on foot until they reached the meeting point, but the people inside refused to let them enter. It turned out that just recently, the entire world had been infected with the eye contact disease, throwing Earth into chaos. With no other choice, Margot led Vincent back to the small boat they'd stayed in earlier. This concludes the complete plot of the 2023 thriller film Vincent Doit Mourir. Vincent Must Die. Overall, the film's quality is quite good. So, have you ever experienced something this bizarre? That's it for today's sharing. See you next time.